The World Bank reports that since China began to open up and reform its economy in 1978, GDP growth has averaged almost 10% a year, and more than 850 million people have been lifted out of poverty. Today, China is an upper-middle-income country and the world's second-largest economy. But its per capita income is still only about a quarter of that of high-income countries, and about 373 million Chinese are living below the upper-middle-income poverty line of $5.50 a day. China also lags in labor productivity and human capital. Income inequality has improved over the last decade but remains relatively high. China's high growth based on resource-intensive manufacturing, exports, and low-paid labor has largely reached its limits and has led to economic, social, and environmental imbalances. Reducing these imbalances requires shifts in the structure of the economy from low-end manufacturing to higher-end manufacturing and services, and from investment to consumption. Over the past few years, growth has moderated in the face of structural constraints, including declining labor force growth, diminishing returns to investment, and slowing productivity. The challenge going forward is to find new drivers of growth while addressing the social and environmental legacies of China's previous development path. China's rapid economic growth exceeded the pace of institutional development, and there are important institutional and reform gaps that China needs to address to ensure a high-quality and sustainable growth path. The role of the state needs to evolve and focus on providing stable market expectations and a clear and fair business environment, as well as strengthening the regulatory system and the rule of law to further support the market system. Given its size, China is central to important regional and global development issues. China is the largest emitter of greenhouse gases, and its air and water pollution affects other countries. Global environmental problems cannot be solved without China's engagement. Moreover, maintaining economic growth at reasonable levels has important spillovers for the growth of the rest of the world economy. Many of the complex development challenges that China faces are relevant to other countries, including transitioning to a new growth model, rapid aging, building a cost-effective health system, and promoting a lower carbon energy path. China is a growing influence on other developing economies through trade, investment, and ideas. China's most immediate challenge is related to the economic, social and public health impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 outbreak has led to an unprecedented economic shock in China and the global economy. China's economy has started to rebound from the COVID-19-induced shock, but the recovery remains uneven. While supply-side constraints have largely eased, domestic demand and especially private consumption remain weak, reflecting lingering behavioral impacts of the pandemic, labor dislocation and slower growth in household incomes. The situation calls for a macroeconomic policy mix aimed at rebuilding confidence and augmenting domestic demand in the short term while supporting the medium-term rebalancing to a greener and more inclusive economy. Specifically, policymakers should aim at closing the gaps in China's social protection coverage to help protect workers and households from the distress caused by job and income losses and also boost private consumption. Beyond the immediate impacts, the current outbreak has uncovered vulnerabilities. This calls for resolute policy actions that enhance resilience against similar health shocks, including enhanced food safety, health surveillance and response systems. This is Matthew for Global Affairs Network, Country Summary Report.